Hi, welcome to the 32nd episode of the High School Basketball Happenings podcast, a podcast that candidly discusses all the hot topics taking place in the high school basketball world. We are your co-hosts, Zain and Paul Biancardi. Today on the podcast, we are joined by Jaylon Tyson. Jaylon is a 6'7" small forward who plays at John Paul II in Plano, Texas. Last year, Jaylon led John Paul to its first ever Texas Association of Private and Parochial Schools state championship. He earned the TAPS All-State First Team honors as a junior after he averaged 24.4 points and 5.5 rebounds per game. He is the number 42 ranked prospect in the class of 2021, according to the newest ESPN rankings that were released this week. And he is committed to play his college ball for Chris Beard at Texas Tech.
Jaylon, welcome to the High School Basketball Happenings podcast.
Thank you.
Let's dive right into it. You mentioned that Texas Tech showed you some love in the recruiting process and after. What did they do that was special, that was like a no-brainer to you?
Really, like I would talk to them so much. Like I just talked to them a lot, and like I remember having conversations with Coach Mal like 3 o'clock in the morning, just talking. And the thing about it, we don't talk about just basketball. We talk about stuff in life that is for my life, just taking care of stuff off the court. Coach Beard stresses that to me a lot, having balance in my life. That's one thing that struck out to me. The fan base is crazy out there. They showed love ever since I got the offer. And I just don't know. It felt like home. And I liked how Coach Beard coaches. He's going to coach me up. Like you said earlier, he's going to coach me up to a point where I'm going to be successful.
He will, and you will be successful because you're real coachable.
Yes, sir.
So, Jaylon, you all are at John Paul II. You all are loaded this year. You're going to look to replicate the success last year where you all won the state championship. This offseason, you added Manny Obaseki, another ESPN top 100 player that we previously had on the podcast. However, you're the only returning starter from last year. In order for John Paul II to repeat the success from last year, what are you all going to have to do differently this year based on the makeup of this team?
Really, we don't have too much chemistry, too much time to be together. Last year, we had 2 years together, and we went through a tough loss my sophomore year at the Final Four game, so we understood what we had to do. This year, we just got to pick up the pace, and we got to trust everybody. I trust that the fourth man or fifth man or sixth man is going to make the game-winning shot. Like, I could trust that anybody on that team is going to make the game-winning shot, and I can pass them the ball. I know it's going to have a positive outcome.
And I'm sure the chemistry challenges were hard, not only with adding a new player right before the season, but also COVID impacting travel and practices and tournaments.
Yeah, well, adding Manny Obaseki, that doesn't hurt the chemistry. I can tell you guys that. Hey, Jaylon, you played for Next Page AAU, and you guys beat the Atlanta Celtics during the summer. That's a big win. 2 questions. First one, tell me about Jabari Smith's game.
Oh, he got a tough game. I said he had a KD game. Killing. He said he was killing at that mid-range. He would post up and just get that mid-range, and you can't stop that. He's like, what, 6'10"?
Yeah, he's close to 6'10".
And he got a jumper. He's pretty good. He's really good, actually.
How is it playing, during COVID with the quarantine and the restrictions, and then getting out to play in a game? How did that feel to you during the summer and the fall?
It was kind of weird, to be honest with you. It just didn't feel the same. But that was my first year I was gonna play on the circuit. I played on the independent team the year before that, so I really didn't know what it felt like to be in an environment like that. But going to Atlanta and playing that even COVID, that was a huge game for me in Next Page Force.
Now, Jaylon, let's flash back to this, or let's flash forward to this current high school season. The first game I watched of you all in person was at the RJ Hampton Showcase. You all had a thrilling come from behind victory. You were down almost 20 points at the half. But what was most interesting to me about that game was that was the first time I had seen an AAU or a high school team wear masks during a game. And, we had Manny on the podcast. He talked about, this is something the athletic director wanted to do. So you all have been wearing masks during practice, during games. Like, how has that process been adjusting to wearing masks? And then what advice or guidance would you offer to players and teams who are just now having to wear masks while playing?
It's definitely an adjustment. It was really hard the first couple weeks, but I think of it as a positive. If you could play a whole game in a mask, once you take that mask off, it's going to be so much easier. That's what I think of it as. And then also you got to think of it as if you wear that mask and you don't get COVID in your team, you get to keep playing. So I think that's a double positive right there.
Very mature response.
Yeah, very mature response. You know that the mask won't be forever, and you're protecting yourself and you're protecting others during the game.
Yes, sir.
I wanted to ask you about Manny Obaseki. You mentioned him earlier. What type of teammate is he, and describe his game?
Oh, he's the teammate you always want to play with. Like, he's a 5-star, all that, but he doesn't act like a 5-star. He's the most humble dude I know. He's not worried about going out and score 20. He's not worried. He's worried about just winning. That's all he's worried about. So if he has to go out there and get 10 points, 10 assists, 10 rebounds, he will go out there and do that. And he's definitely me and him push each other every single practice. That's like real fun because we make each other better. Let's say that.
What do you like best about his game?
I just think that like I said earlier, nobody can stand in front of him. Nobody can stand in front of him. And
what about you?
Oh, I can stand in front of him. I can stand in front of him. Nobody else can stand in front of him. But I just seen his development from when he was in 8th grade to now. It's tremendous. Like, he worked so hard, and then he's a brother to me. To be honest with you, I'll have a relationship with him forever. But yeah, and his improvement, he's just what's it called? He's invested in this game. So like he invests so much time into his game. He has a bad game. The next day he's gonna wake up and work on the stuff that he did bad in.
We had a very profound interview with him. He said a lot of things that were really mature and thoughtful and empathetic. How would you describe him as a person?
Oh, he's a tremendous person. He's a great kid. Everybody says that around Dallas. He's a better kid than he is a player, something like that. Seeing that that's a true statement. He's on the court, he's a dog, but off the court, he's caring. He's caring. He's gonna make sure everybody's all right. If somebody's down in practice, he's gonna make sure that dude's good.
So he's a pit bull on the court and he's a puppy off the court.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
So, Jaylon, a couple of weeks ago, you all played at the Thanksgiving Hoop Fest against Lancaster. That game was held at the American Airlines Center. Now, that American Airlines Center NBA court, it's somewhere in the ballpark of 10 feet longer than a traditional high school court. How much more difficult is it to play on an NBA court than a traditional high school court in terms of just getting your conditioning right?
To be honest, we run so much, we're so conditioned, like it didn't make a difference. That 10 feet didn't feel like a difference. We had a shoot around in the morning. We got up and down on it. We got used to it, and we were just ready.
Got it. Very good. I remember the first time I played on an NBA court, and this was after I'd been playing on high school courts, and I was winded, so I wasn't nearly in as good of shape as the John Paul team is.
It actually felt better, to be honest with you, playing on that than a regular high school court. I liked how the Rams felt when I shot it, if you understand what that means.
Yeah.
As long as it goes in, that's all that matters.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Zain gave a little shameless plug to the ESPN rankings at the beginning of this. When the rankings come out, there's always a lot of noise. And some of it's positive, some of it's negative. But from whether it's kids or adults, you always hear rankings don't matter. But then you hear a lot of noise because of it. What's your thought on that?
I think it's just, like I said earlier, kids they drop 20 on a ranked kid over them, and they think that it's better than them. That has nothing to do. I mean, that has something to do with it, but it's all about everything. Like you said, you ask coaches, stuff like that. And you would probably ask people in the local area about them. It's not just about your game. It's about you're off the court too. Like if you have a bad attitude, stuff like that. And also, I think that people worry too much about being ranked. They should just be worried about getting better every single day. That's what I think it is. I mean, being ranked is a phenomenal piece of being in high school, but at the end of the day, if you want to make it to NBA, you shouldn't be worried about a ranking. You should be worried about getting better. That's what I think.
Well, you're a perfect example. Before you were ranked in the ESPN rankings, never any words from you or any, nobody DM'd me or nobody text messaged me. Even your coaches at, Texas Tech just said, hey, take a look at him, which I did. And your game spoke for yourself. You've never seemed like you asked to be ranked or talked about, you're being underlooked or undervalued or all those words that a lot of people just kind of throw around. Was that how you were brought up?
I was brought up really. I just wanted it for myself, my family. So really, I just really went to work every day, try getting better. If we play against the sorriest team, the best team, I'm still gonna go at you. The sorriest team, I'm gonna give you 40. The best team, I'm gonna give you 40. I kept that mindset the whole year, and I'm gonna continue to have that mindset.
Very good, very good. So you explained this very well for people that are complaining. The only people that complain are the people that are not in the rankings, or unfortunately, if people did move down a little bit, there never seems to be a complaint for the guys that move up.
I mean, if you get moved down, it's another. It's either you got too comfortable or you just got to keep working. That's all it is. Somebody outworked you. You should think of it as somebody outworked you, so you got to go outwork them.
Paul, we're going to take that last 5 seconds of what Jaylon described, and just every time you release the rankings, just release that blurb with it.
I just thought already about that, Zain. I'm going to quote you on that, Jaylon. That was awesome.
Yes, sir.
So, Jaylon, let's switch gears from the basketball court a little bit. For the last X months, we've all largely been in quarantine, staying inside. Were there any new hobbies or activities or interests that you picked up over the last few months that had nothing to do with basketball, nothing to do with improving your body and getting ready for the next level?
Well, I love to do two things outside of basketball. First, I like video games. I actually picked up a couple. Actually, I found more interest in doing recovery for my body. I've seen a lot of improvements in my body, and also I like to fish and I like to play golf. Two favorite things.
Wow.
A lot to unpack there. A couple follow-up questions. What's your go-to console or go-to game? And then with that game, who do you play with if it's a sports team? And then what's the biggest fish that you've ever caught?
Okay, I play Fortnite. I still play Fortnite.
Yeah.
I play with my family member. I usually play with my little brother. We usually play that. And my biggest fish I've ever caught, I don't think I've hooked a lot of big fish, but I never really reeled one in. I can't even remember what it's called. It was probably in the beginning of quarantine. It was like maybe this big, maybe. I've caught a lot of I catch a lot of like down here in Texas, like bass and stuff like that. Yeah. I remember we went the first couple of days of quarantine. Me, my brother, and my stepdad. We probably caught 25 fish. We caught a lot. We was just reeling them in like this. But yeah, it's real fun.
Well, that was good. It got your mind off the virus and being in quarantine and gave you something different to do and a skill that you can use later on in your life.
Yes, sir. And then golfing. My dad does a lot of golfing, except he can't really do too much right now. But he does a lot of golfing. So I just went out there and started playing. I used to play on the golf team in middle school, but then I just eased away from it. But now that I had time, I went back to it. It's just something to get away from thinking about basketball and just hit a couple balls. There's always something that you could do on free time.
Yeah, you keep your mind fresh, right? You get it away from the game so you can go back to the game.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to ask you a question. I'll put you on the spot a little bit.
Okay.
If you could wave a magic wand and change one thing in the world, anything that you want to change, what would you change?
Throw away COVID. I hated it. Throw it away. Throw it away.
Throw it away. Okay. That was quick.
That was easy.
Okay. All right. So wave that wand and let's get rid of COVID.
Yes. Now.
Zain, anything else for you?
That's all that I had.
Jaylon, you are awesome. Thank you. And we can't wait to follow you during the high school season. Hopefully you guys can still play some more games. I know you get the mask on. And
Yes,
we really look forward to seeing you at Texas Tech under Chris Beard.
Thank you. Thank you.